Hello, friends, and welcome to 10 Points Under, where Isamu is no longer an original idea. This is Big a Bullfrog coming at you this week and every week that we've done this. It's pretty awesome being able to do this every week. But joining me this week is good friend of the show, Tiamat. Welcome, Tiamat.
Hey, Big, it's good to be back. Thanks for having me on the show again.
Yeah, of course. I love having you on. Tiamat's been on with me a few times. He's a great player. From the other side of the country than me. It's cool to be able to meet up with you and do these games together.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm representing the Midwest. You know, we got to have somebody representing our burgeoning Heroscape scene in the Midwest.
Yeah, you've got a good one going on there now. So that's awesome to be able to have you come in. Yeah, so Tiamat, like I said, great player. You've probably at this point already seen some of his prowess on the battlefield. We were able to showcase if I'm guesstimating the order of the videos that I've recorded so far, you'll have already seen him be able to play on the battlefield instead of be on this side of the camera recording. Not too much of a camera involved, but
right.
Yeah. So you can watch a game that Tiamat's played. There is at least one more to come. If not more, I don't remember exactly at this point, and I'm not going to look up too much right now. But he had a really good run in this tournament, so I'm excited to have you cast run the games with me.
Yeah, it was really fun to participate in the online con. It was awesome that the community was able to put it together. If I tried to name everybody, I'd forget someone, but I know Veggie was at the top of that list, and a bunch of other people did so much work to make it happen. Dysol, Doc, Kevin Dola, I think behind the scenes did a lot. And so making that happen for the community, I think was just, considering the times we're all going through, it was such a great escape. And I was really fortunate that I could carve out a day and play in the VC event. I really wanted to play in this event to support the VC community. I think it's the lifeblood of modern Heroscape. So I was super excited to play and had a great time doing it.
Yeah, this is a really, really good one. I mean, the event as a whole was, like you said, just awesome. And it was cool to be able to see this one. So this is, like Tiamat said, the VC event. This is VC Bring 2. I believe the point limit was 450. Is that right? I'm remembering that correctly, right?
I think you're right. It's either 450 or 440, but I think it was 450.
All right, yeah. And so your standard bring 2. You both bring 2 armies. You have it roll off to see who gets to pick an army first, and then the other person picks another army from the last 3. Just it's a pretty standard format, but it was a cool one to be able to see with this VC stuff because you had so many different armies that were brought and that you were able to see in action. So here we've got over here we've got Boromir96 playing 3 squads of the Nhah Scirh Cultists, Cyprian Essenwein, Sonia Essenwein hiding behind the box over here, and then Isamu. And then over on the other side we've got Chris Perkins playing, 4 squads of spiders, Quahon, the VC Dragon, 2 blue wormlings, Otonashi, and Isamu. So, a pretty cool matchup, and I'm excited to see these guys in action.
Yeah, definitely both really fun builds that take advantage of the VC scene, and it was really cool in the event. The variety of the armies that you run into is just so deep in the VC meta. It's just. There's so much variety there as compared to maybe just classic Scape, right? Then so it's fun, it's challenging too, because you can't go in really being prepared for everything. You've got to be able to make some quick decisions on how good your opponent's armies are. You've got to have a decent idea of some of these VC units, and so it just adds a lot of spice to the game and to the tournament, I think. So it's fun.
Yeah, it's a really cool matchup that we get to see from it.
Yeah, and Quahon's definitely, one of the premier units from the custom scene, and so really is recognized as a great unit, and a lot of people have built different types of armies around Quahon, and it just has a really cool mechanic, great bonding options, so really a cool thing to have for a VC tournament. And then the Nhah Scirh, I think, are a little bit less played, but maybe I think underrated. When I've gone up against them, I've gotten my butt kicked. I mean, they've got disengage plus that move 6. even when you're not going against a dragon, it's better than I think most people think. So it'll be fun to see how this one plays out.
Yeah, they've definitely got like a lot of interesting utility even outside of a dragon matchup. Yeah, they're a really cool one. But yeah, I'll go ahead and get the game rocking and rolling as we continue. Boromir96, Chris Perkins. This will also be a really cool player matchup because these are both really awesome players. Chris Perkins is someone we've seen a lot on the channel. Both he's been able to cast with me, as well as we've seen him play a lot of games, and he always brings really, really good stuff to the battlefield. And Boromir, I think, is one of the hidden legends. He's a really, really strong player, but you just don't see as much of him. I think, at least if you're just kind of casually watching the scene, I think he can kind of pass by unnoticed. But he's a really strong player.
Yeah, I haven't run into him in the online scene. I've just gotten into that community myself. But yeah, definitely, all reports are a very strong player. And it'll be interesting to see how he plays into the Quahon army. It's with Quahon's attack with the lightning chain. Mm-hmm. It's really hard. I always find it really hard to bring melee up. And how do you? It's like you can't space out enough to avoid the attack. So what do you do?
Right.
Do you try to come in from different angles, or do you just try to get a slow roll going and hope that Quahon misses on one attack and you can swarm? It's always without range. I always struggled what to do against Quahon.
Yeah, that's true for sure. So the cultists, in case the viewers aren't aware of what the cultists are, because like you said, Tiamat, they're kind of a little less known, I think, among the community. So they're basically anti-dragons. They're like from the Heroscape lore, the Icarian anti-dragon cult. But they get an extra attack die against dragons, which is nice against Quahon. And then they also have an automatic shield against special attacks, which helps against a lot of dragons. And I will say this really quick, I'm not sure if we'll especially since the players are chatting live instead of chatting in the box, I don't know if we'll actually see it happen. But I do know that going into this matchup, Chris Perkins had misread the card for the Nhah Scirh, which is why he chose Quahon to go into the cultists, because he basically, I don't remember exactly what it was, but I think he didn't realize that it was an automatic shield. I think he might have thought it was +1 defense or something like that. Just not quite realizing how strong they are against a dragon.
Right.
That said, I mean, I did watch enough of the game to know that it was a good game, and I hadn't really even noticed that Chris was struggling at all. I don't remember how the game ends or really anything other than it was a good game. But
yeah,
just in case we see a moment where Chris goes full in, tries to get a big lightning breath, and then we kind of see that oops moment. That might happen.
Right, yeah. And it's interesting, we can see that Boromir is actually spreading out in such a way that you can't get the chained attack off. Mm-hmm. It looks like he's pulled that off, which is tricky.
Oh, oops. I remember this. So there's my mouse from when I was watching the recording. I forgot that the screen was recording and I was gesturing with my mouse. I don't remember exactly what I was thinking at the time, but that's why that cursor is dancing there. Sorry.
Don't be distracted, folks at home.
But yeah, so here we see actually a lightning breath. Okay, so it is happening.
And so he had to maneuver, and that's the thing is with Quahon, even no matter how hard you try to avoid that lightning attack, it's so hard to spread out enough.
Yeah, and even with that automatic shield, if she's rolling 2 skulls, which is average for her special attack, it's not too hard to get them to blink. Boromir didn't there, but yep. It would not be unexpected at all. And what's nice about this placement is now Chris can come in, block off Quahon from counterattack, and basically keep the Nhah Scirh from being able to flood her too much.
Yep. And it was interesting the way that Chris deployed Quahon originally. You know, for maybe players that are newer to the game, you would notice that he placed Quahon such that he could not get engaged. He was one space away from all of the Nhah Scirh.
Mm-hmm.
But he was in the middle of the board, so he could see how the Nhah Scirh were going to deploy themselves and then adjust, you know, north or south in order to set up that lightning attack. And then, like you just said, and then also be able to bring in spiders to block off any sort of engagement. So just that was like textbook how to deploy that Spiders Quahon army, really expertly played.
Yeah, exactly. So he's actually not blocking off Nhah Scirh, which is really interesting. I wonder if I don't remember where the order markers were. I wonder if he called the Cyprian advanced, because spiders are pretty bad into Cyprian. I could see trying to bring up spiders and keep them behind and have Quahon go toe-to-toe with Cyprian.
Yeah, and he did put that spider so Cyprian can't get a heighted attack on. So he must have been anticipating that, yeah.
Cyprian's nuts. Okay, so I always like to do this when like Cyprian or similar figures are on the board. Here's his threat range. This is where he can land on the board. I guess maybe like to here. But look at how much the board that is.
Yeah, he's ridiculous. 8 stealth flying is out of control.
Oh, yeah. And
he just rolled a 15, and so with Sonya, that's going to be a good hit.
Mm-hmm. I forget what that is exactly. Okay, I guess it's 2.
It's like 2 wounds, yeah. Maybe just 1 away from the 3.
Yeah.
And gets a hit through on the regular attack.
Yeah, that's not quite how you'd like to open that up. Fortunately, Quahon could put a big hit. I don't know. That's because if Quahon puts a nice hit on Cyprian, I don't think you're expecting, like, if you're lucky, you can maybe hope for like 3 wounds, I think, on a 6v4. But I think usually you're expecting 1, maybe 2 wounds, and Cyprian can heal that so easily with all these spiders around.
Yep, and then he just goes off and heals by feasting on spiders. So, that, you know, from the outset of this game, and I think I mentioned this when we were setting this up, is the dynamic to me was always going to be Cyprian as assassin, and how are you going to fight that off?
Mm-hmm.
Because the game hinges to me on, can Cyprian take out Quahon? And then, you know, obviously that's kind of game if that happens.
Yeah, exactly, because there's just not enough back here to follow that up. So it looked like Chris was trying to put Quahon back here. I know she can be difficult to place sometimes, but I think there's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that would play in real life, I think. Yeah, so taking the disengage. And got hit on the disengage. So this is rough. This is tough sledding so far for the Quahon army.
It does have a lightning breath.
Yeah, which that's setting up okay at least.
And I'm guessing, again, I'm kind of kicking myself for not looking at the order markers at the beginning of the round, but I'm guessing he brings in spiders to try to take a order marker off of Cyprian.
Yes, and that's the X factor with the spiders, right? And that is, I mean, that's so game changing if they pull it off. So, yeah, I wonder if Chris was thinking almost of using Quahon as a decoy there. I mean, you know, to bring Cyprian in and then go for the tangling web.
I could maybe see that, like, kind of like, okay, I need to get Cyprian to come in hardcore like at some point. I can't just, you know, if he's hanging back and waiting for a big chance to swing in, that can be bad. And Chris got the 19 for the entangling web, so that is an order marker off of Cyprian.
Yep. And getting wounds there with the spiders as well? Yeah. Looks like
3 wounds?
Rolling hot. I haven't seen him in the wound box yet, but
yeah, and then order marker 3 on Cyprian, so that was a stolen order marker. Okay, nice.
Yeah, so that did work out well. Kind of a big swing.
Initiative.
A big swing back then, yeah.
Oh yeah, because if Chris can take this initiative, move Quahon right here, and attack down for 7, followed up by spiders, entangling web plus normal attacks, you could, I mean, like 7 attack could potentially finish that off. I don't think you're quite that hopeful, but you know, you're always open to a happy surprise when you're playing.
Yeah, but it's in the realm. It's in the realm at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And so He must have had to choose between two order markers, though, right? And they must have done that verbally because it's not in the chat in order to get the proper one for the entangling web.
Yeah, so it looks like.
Oh, but the one was on cultists. Yeah.
So
Okay.
so it was only the one that was on Cyprian.
Yep.
We'll probably see if there are more order markers on Cyprian. Probably see the numbers added on here, or just one order marker on Cyprian.
Yeah, that's interesting. So almost giving up, I wonder, on Cyprian.
Yeah, I wonder if I'm sure that I.
I would. Yeah.
Do you think that would be number one? I think it'd be number one on Cyprian just because that's too big of an opportunity to pass up.
Yeah, and I think this is where tangling web is gets in anybody's head, right? You're thinking, I can't risk losing a round.
Right.
It really is. I think it's a 16 or higher. I mean, it is actually not that easy to get it.
Yeah.
And so I think it sometimes gets more respect than it deserves. I know I've done that. I've made the mistake of like just assuming people were going to get it when you can be a little more risky there, and you can make the reasonable assumption that they won't hit it.
And I totally neglected to look at Kelda on this map.
Oh, that's huge, right?
Yeah, that's huge. I totally neglected to. I saw it at the beginning of the game, and then I forgot it while talking about this action.
So I think that was definitely Cyprian bait, take some wounds, and then go to Kelda was probably what Chris was thinking.
Yeah,
from the onset, it would be my guess.
Exactly, especially because Cyprian with Kelda is also so Dragon plus Kelda, Cyprian plus Kelda. Those are both huge, like potentials for just big swings.
Yep. Yeah, and there goes Cyprian off the board. It looks like.
Was that his final? It's got two here. I forget exactly.
Took out Cyprian and a Nhah Scirh with that lightning.
Which is pretty nice, you know.
That's a big play. Yeah, that's impressive. So now the Nhah Scirh have got to do some work to bring this back.
Yeah, and like this, I love this right here.
Yep.
Just completely blocking that Nhah Scirh, because like the one thing is that Quahon is really vulnerable right here from basically if the Nhah Scirh are attacking down, that's 5 attack down onto her, which is, you know, she can take those wounds that she healed really quickly.
Yep. Yeah, that's a really nice choke point to seal off over there with that spider.
Yeah, so that's nice. I think I would like to see like this one right here instead to kind of seal off that. And then you're never going to block this guy. But, or, well, I guess maybe if you placed one here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, because then he can't get in there. So I think that's where I'd go.
Yeah, and just set up a screen.
But also, I mean, like, development is huge.
And spiders on road are with, what would they be? Are they move 9 on road then?
10? It would be 10, yeah, on road.
Move 10 on road. It's just, so you're just anywhere you want to go, basically.
Yeah.
It's such a nice combination with Quahon.
Yeah, I mean, like, cultists are almost this is a very mobile matchup with
Quahon
with flying, 7-move spiders, 6-move cultists with disengage against the squads, 8-move stealth flying Cyprian.
I mean, flying, everybody's just whipping across the board. Yeah, so those two can get in. I guess with the help of disengage, they can sneak by that spider.
You know what? Actually, so thinking about it, I think Chris might not have realized the disengage, maybe? That would explain this placement if he thought that he would have to take a disengagement attack to get through there.
Yep.
I don't remember exactly. Maybe I should have double-checked before we started recording this, but I'm sure there'll be one of the top comments below will be
what he actually
a clarification,
Yep.
Which, speaking of, if I'm ever recording a game and I get something incorrect, please let me know, whether on like Heroscapers or on YouTube. I will make that the top comment in YouTube because I definitely like to have those clarifications around. But yeah, so 2 attacks of 5 down on Quahon. Holy cow!
No! Wow!
Oh my gosh!
That's ridiculous.
Oh no!
Jeez. So much for Kelda. And then a 3.
Oh, if that's a... Oh,
yikes.
That's a...
Still alive.
1 life, Quahon. Oh my gosh.
So you're not disengaging out of there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh man, yeah, I don't think I've seen from this point on. Like I don't remember that at all.
That was big. So hopping up, yeah, got to get to at least
Move
same
up,
level.
get a lightning breath on these two. If you're lucky, I mean, well, if you're lucky, you can clear them off. You definitely need to get a spider up here, like this guy up to here, so that you can't get a Nhah Scirh capping you.
Yep. And so it looks like thinking about not moving up
Maybe?
potentially. Does that set up?
Interesting. I think. Because the Nhah Scirh. Oh, normal attack. Okay, normal attack makes more sense if you're going to stay down there. I still think I'd move up.
Yeah, I'm not sure. There's got to be a reason, but it's not clear, not apparent to me right now.
It's probably what he's planning to do with the spiders. And I like the move up here, block this with the spider, because then you can only take maximum 2 attacks even ground.
Yeah.
Oh, but maybe he wouldn't have been able to get a good...
For web?
No, because you could still could have gotten that web.
And he gets it, though. He got it again. Nice.
Yeah.
So actually, I take it all back. You get entangling web every time.
Every time.
That's how that works.
Welcome to 10 Points Under, where you get entangling web every time.
Yeah. So okay. So that's big too. That gives some breathing room for.
I think Boromir might have to like resubmit order markers or something like that, or
unless they're like doing it
some way to
in the chat. Yeah, like
they might like roll a die or something to see if he removed the 3 or the X or.
Yeah.
Yep. There's a die roll, so I'm sure that was determining which one he removed.
Yep.
But
and then a whole bunch of spider attacks. All of them blocked. Interesting.
So we'll see if. Oh yeah, Sonia took 2 wounds.
Yep, from the Cyprian death.
Eternal heartbreak. Welcome to 10 Points Under, where falling in love will only bring you wounds.
Just like real life.
Yeah.
As in real life. So it looks like he did not lose his second order marker.
Yep. Which hurts. Which is why I don't like this stay on low ground gamble.
Yeah, there's got to be something there, because he still could have got entangling web.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
It could have been like if he wanted to bring up those 3 specific spiders, maybe they couldn't have gotten up here, and so he didn't want to move up to where the cultists could come up. But yeah, I'm not certain.
There's such a reflex in Heroscape to not allow height advantage. I like almost just don't even think about it. If there's a reason to stay down and look below, I don't even consider it ingrained.
Well, it could have been maybe no, even then. All right, and there's the
big
kill.
4, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he just was assuming Quahon was going to be lost.
I mean, it could be. I mean, like at some point you do need to cut your losses if something like that's, or you can like throw the map away.
Right. Have a little tantrum there. Flip the board over.
I love being able to flip the board online because you can always Control Z it right back. And
yes, exactly. Earthquake. Just kidding. And the Nhah Scirh continue to roll hot up there. 4 out of 5, 3 out of 4, and the 0 shields.
Yeah, so it'll be tough for the spiders. Come back. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 spiders versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 cultists. So I like if they're able to go 1-to-1 with the cultists, which isn't terribly likely, but also I don't think the worst odds.
Yeah, again with the web, they'd have to, that's going to help if they can hit it.
And being able to get high attacks right here, like 3v3s aren't bad. Even 2v3 isn't terrible. I think like the worst thing right now is that the cultists have a have 4 activations to the 3 activations.
Yeah. That was a nice move, though, getting into the start zone there for those heighted attacks and kind of choking off what's left there, keeping them on low ground.
And it looks like Chris had stolen the number 3 order marker.
So number 3, yeah.
So that's nice.
Yeah, because you know, with web, there's always a chance you'll choose the X, and even if you hit it, it'll get you nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, especially now where you know everything is on the cultists.
Yeah, right. You can have that decoy and have it actually be a decoy. So yeah, and you know, those blue wormlings probably aren't going to be too helpful because they're special attackers generally.
Yeah, only
coming in.
Only 2 attack isn't great. Like 4 normal attack is nice, but that's only if you can get the first strike against the cultists, because otherwise they've also got 4 attack against you.
Yeah.
Winning initiative is really nice here, though.
Yeah, this is going to be a big one. Yeah.
5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Cool. So I'm betting Chris moves this spider here, grabs this spider, and just runs along the road because 10 move is ridiculous, and comes right here.
Why not?
And can entangle that guy. So that'd be a great start to the round if he just starts it off with an entangling. It's always nice when you like get the jackpot with the entangling web and you still order marker 1 and then order marker 2.
Yep, yeah, you just start rolling. It's a good feeling.
Yeah, it looks like he's gonna keep it in reserve though. But there's a kill. And there's another kill, so yeah.
Another kill. Yeah, so spiders are doing some work.
Yeah. I mean, really, like, spiders are not... Granted, okay, you never want to be playing just spiders, right? Like, you always want your wyvern or your Quahon or, even your Sujoa to go with them. But even when they're, like, playing on their own, or, like, say your bonding hero is up here finding something and they're off doing their own thing, they can still, like, they've got a few things to do.
Yep, and they're like nagrubs, and that people underestimate those. Over a game, if you keep attacking with 2 attack, 3 times an order marker, eventually you start killing some things. And with the spiders, they can get height so often with their speed, or even better. So yeah, you definitely have something to work with still.
Yeah, they're honestly one of my favorite. Okay, I say that too much. They're one of my favorite units, but I say that about like so many units.
We don't know what to believe anymore from you, Vega. Come on.
I just love everybody.
I love everybody equally. All my Heroscape children.
Yeah.
No shields from Chris there.
Yeah, that's a couple dead spiders, which is... There's a nice 3, so that'll be another one. So, just kills on both sides. Just death everywhere. Death.
And what's interesting in this format, I think we had an hour, maybe 50 minutes, something like that for the game. So, I play slow, and so that definitely is a different vibe. When you've got an hour, you start adding up points, or you start thinking, I need to start playing faster to get through the whole game, and so it definitely was another dynamic going on here. But they're getting a lot of kills, so I'm guessing maybe they didn't run into that issue.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not even sure how far along they're in. I still think this is probably maybe like around the half-hour mark. I guess I could look. Around the half-hour mark. With the speed, since I increased the speed a little bit for the videos, but...
Right.
Yeah, and it's just like, nice lots of death in the game. So lots of stuff happening. But I agree, though, actually, like, when it comes to live tournaments, live play, I actually kind of appreciate the timer a lot, because I don't like it when games drag out, for 1, and 2, I definitely have a potential to drag out games myself. Like, if there's not a time limit, I've caught myself a few times taking too long without realizing it.
Yeah, and it's the pressure for me is like, I don't want to not give my opponent, like, if I can jump out to an early lead, I don't want to
Oh
like
yeah.
feel like I'm slow playing to win, on time. That's like the last thing you want to do. So
Mm-hmm.
it forces you to play, but then yeah, it's almost liberating, right? Then you're like, oh, I can't analyze this to death. I just got to go with my gut a little.
Yeah, and I think that sometimes forces me to make, because I think sometimes if I overanalyze, that's where I actually make mistakes sometimes.
Yeah,
Whereas if I'm like just looking at something, I like force myself to be more objective and more quick about it, and I feel like sometimes, not always, but sometimes I can make better decisions.
but play even better. Yeah, surprisingly, maybe. Yeah.
You spurred me on without realizing it, and I enter into my true power. So kills in the right places for Boromir. Looks like he's cleared up these spiders back here.
Yeah,
Got
that
a
was
kill up
big.
here. Yeah, Chris
Sort of
is.
reestablished the board position.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I like trying to go up here to limit how many kills Boromir can get.
Yeah, that is a nice choke point that he's taken advantage of.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, like, granted, if Chris starts slow rolling up into this area, Boromir can easily slow roll to try to like, well, not to try, but to like get more cultists within striking distance, so that when action happens, he's still got the numbers advantage.
Yep.
But I mean, honestly, if I'm Boromir, I'm like, okay, yeah, you slow roll. I'm okay with giving you that little bit of an edge, because for one, if I string in one by one, that's a good way to turn things around again. And
Yeah, I'd be more than happy to allow him to amass up in the northeast while I set up in the
mhm,
middle and prepare for the onslaught there. I think that's in Boromir's favor.
yeah,
Not that Chris could do much else right now. I mean, yeah, he's behind, I would
yeah,
say.
exactly. And I mean, like honestly, it's kind of a win-win because Chris can't do much unless he messes his spiders. But it
Right.
also helps Boromir to mess his cultists more. So it's like, hey, win-win. Let's just both be nice to each other. I don't mind throwing in the one cultist to just engage and get a kill because that's also a place where Chris can't really strike back.
Yeah. And he won't be engaged if he's in swamp as a spider. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah. Because if he's down
Right.
here, that's two spaces, so he won't even be able to
Yeah.
reach his legs up there.
Which, as a map maker, big and in that scene, I know this is a modified version of highways and dieways
Mm-hmm.
from the original, where the spiders could sit on that water and block the start zone without taking on engagements.
Yeah, yeah, yep. That was a thing in the game.
Right, right.
Spiders right here, because on the other version, right up here, this is all level 2.
Yep. And so they can kind of in a silly way sort of sit there and be a roadblock without taking on attacks. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
uh, but I would just walk over these spiders,
Right.
but you may not.
One of those awkward moments of Heroscape physics.
Right, exactly. The game, not a simulation, I guess.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
always the retort, right?
Mm-hmm. Except
Okay,
for
so
Sonya taking wounds, that's a perfect simulation.
that is just life reenacting art, right? I mean, oh, 20 V19 on the
I
initiative there.
know, that's
Nice.
crazy.
Okay. Yeah, that'll when you roll that 19 first and then someone goes on top of you, that hurts.
I
That's
know, it's like 19, I got it.
here
Oh,
we
20,
go.
I didn't got it. Let's see,
Uh,
so 3 on spiders. Yeah, that'll be pretty hurting. I mean, this is nice for Boromir. I don't think it was like necessary for Boromir to win this initiative. Like he didn't need it to win because he was already ahead. But this is a
yeah.
nice way to just be like, oh, okay, I won initiative. I killed this spider last turn, so I'll come around. I'll come in. I'll get a couple attacks down.
Yep. Yeah, that really cleans out any hope up there of massing a spider front.
Mm-hmm. I'll get 3 skulls twice, so that you can't even roll defense. I mean, you can roll defense, but it's just not gonna matter. Oh, and an attack on the blue. I love that actually.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean they're underrated. I tell you, they move fast, they disengage. I have
Mm-hmm.
respect for them, even in the non-dragon matchup. I mean, it's nice going after that wormling or the blue wormling, which is technically a dragon, helps. But even without that, they're still, I think, good.
Yeah, they're definitely, I think, one of the underexplored. I think even like Veggie said in his "Where is Bring the Cheese Now?" Wrote an article about where the cheese armies are, with VC having been around for uh, almost 10 years at this point. I think he said that Nhah Scirh are probably one of the least explored options that could be really, really strong.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting point. We gotta, and I guess they. Who else would they? So they've got benefits from the Skull Demon as the other person. So
Mm-hmm.
followers of Valkyrie, yeah. So there might be some interesting combos there. Maybe buffing them.
Looks like they are hitting the time limit,
Ah, okay. Yeah, yeah.
but I don't know that that's gonna change too much.
No, not it doesn't. Wouldn't imagine at this point.
It always stinks when a time limit is called on a close game.
Yep.
In this case, it's a little less close. Not that, I mean, Chris still has Isamu. He could win this game hands down, easy peasy.
We've all seen it. We've all seen it.
But unfortunately, we will not see that on 10 Points Under today.
Yeah, and the time, and when we run tournaments, I don't know, do you guys do partial card? I mean, it's always so awkward if it ends early, right? You gotta how are we gonna
Yeah.
score this? And people can run and hide, right? Which that's lame, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like just to win on time with points. So you never like to see it. You can avoid it.
Yeah. Just play faster.
Yeah, right. Come on, people.
Yeah, I think our top player in Utah, the guy who's won the most of our Utah tournaments, I think he said he's only had a game go to time twice. And
Okay.
he's got an insane win-loss record here. Like, he's won a ton of games here in Utah, and yeah, he's only had 2 games go to time. One of them was against, like, I want to say like 40 Blade Gruts and Larak, because we were doing that format.
Yes, when you brought all your ants, is that one?
Yeah. Well, that was actually true, but yeah.
Oh,
He
is that
brought
true? Okay,
48
sorry,
ants, Isamu, and Otonashi for 500
gotcha.
points.
Just shoot me now. That's awful. Yeah. So who is it? Inquiring minds want to know who's the big.
The big Utah Heroscape player. That's the Duke. He was
the
like,
Duke. Yes.
yeah,
he's famous for winning a tournament with only heroes. And I remember
mm-hmm.
I posed a question on the boards like, is it possible? Because I thought I was going to bring a heroes only army to a tournament. And then you or somebody chimed in that the Duke just did it here in Utah. And then he explained really well how he had pulled it off with Brygarn and the Varha. It was really sort of elegant how he put that together and turned the hero's army into a real Swiss Army knife. So yeah, oh gosh, he sounds like he's an amazing player.
Yeah, he's a really good player, and he just like, he's one of the players that I love, because he's really good at the game, but also he just has fun with it. He just kind of plays what he likes to play and has fun, and I think that's why he does well. I think when players are just having fun, they do a lot better than when they're stressing about every decision. I've noticed that with myself. If I'm stressing about every decision I make, I tend not to do as well.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And you surprise yourself when you just kind of play a game. You're like, you won't even feel like you put as much thought into it, and you're like, oh, I won, and wow, I actually kind of played well.
Yeah.
And I didn't. Wasn't clutching the table on every move I made.
Right. Yeah, I think there's a lot to be said about being able to just relax and have fun with the game that improves your own gameplay.
Yeah, and some of it's prep too for me. Like if I'm going into a tournament and I've played an army enough times, like it really shortens the decision making time. Like you just have a feel for how this should play out, and that helps. So, but
yeah.
I'm definitely guilty of playing slowly, so I really can't talk. If anybody from Ann Arbor or Ohio that has played with me is listening, they'll be throwing popcorn at the screen saying that guy's so freaking slow. I'm trying to get better.
Hey, that's fine. Everybody's got their own pace, and I mean, like slow games are cool. Like when it becomes a thinking game, those are also really fun.
Yeah, and I try not to do it when things are timed. I definitely am conscious of that.
Oh
So
yeah, for sure.
that makes it okay. Then I'm okay. So
Just always have a timer going.
I should right just set one for myself.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's our game. Time was called here. Looks like we've got a nice win for Boromir.
Yeah, yeah, that was and what a roller coaster at the start of this game. I
Oh
mean, that was
yeah,
crazy.
I honestly
Um,
like I could have seen it going either way. It was really just that Quahon. I think we saw right here at the end, Chris was going over this spider placement. He moved it right there, which is where he had it. I think he also had it right here, which is I think him saying I should have put it right here in order to block
right,
that whole route in, which
and that,
I
yep,
definitely agree with. Yeah.
that could have really made a change, right? Because yeah, then he doesn't get those attacks down
Mm-hmm.
and take out Quahon there. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
So
think he always takes one attack down because I think there was a guy up here who he couldn't completely block. But if you only take one
yeah,
attack of 5, even if that was the 4 wounds, you can still like move up somehow, scream with spiders, normal attack this guy, and just like claw your way out of that.
yep. There's hope. There's definitely a reasonable scenario in which you survive that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So um, yeah, that was really cool though to see. I don't know. How would you have played if going in with Cyprian knowing, okay, I've got to assassinate Quahon? How did you go early like Boromir did? Do you try to develop the Nhah Scirh and then like launch a surprise attack? Like it was interesting to see how it played out, and how
Yeah.
Chris almost drew him in and then tried to take him out and then went to
Mm-hmm.
Kelda. It was cool dynamic.
Yeah, I think honestly, like granted, hindsight is 2020, and it's easier to be talking when you're casting the game than when you're
Yes.
playing the game. So I feel like I've always got to throw that out there because I feel like I say a lot as a caster sometimes. But like just having watched how that played out, I think I definitely agree with Boromir's strategy to throw out Cyprian early, um, because so like my initial honestly, so my initial reaction is start with Nhah Scirh, you know, tango with the spiders because you'll probably trade favorably against them for the most part. And Quahon either isn't like, you'll take some hits, but if she tries to go for anything too big, that should give you an opening. I don't know, it's hard on this map though. Like the map for one is where I'm starting to think, okay, maybe Nhah Scirh early on isn't the best thing because the spiders can just block off Quahon so easily. And then I think the other thing is like I would love to have an end game of like early game Nhah Scirh are able to take out Quahon. End game Cyprian goes against spiders. That's just an awesome end game that I'd love to have.
Yeah, yeah.
But if early game you try to assassinate Quahon and then she takes some wounds, takes a big disengage to go heal up, and then you have to like do it all over again. And maybe Chris is like, maybe in that scenario, if Cyprian isn't forcing the early Kelda, then Chris has more spiders around to block stuff off. I could see that also being a losing scenario. So I think Boromir honestly had an excellent strategy going into this.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the more I think about it as well, you can't send the Nhah Scirh out. I mean, they're going to get annihilated by Quahon, and then even if they do get in and start to do damage, there's Kelda. So I think that
Mm-hmm.
that early let Quahon move up, and then you just got to pour on the order markers on Cyprian, and you can take her out before she gets to Kelda, or you beat her to Kelda. And I don't know. I don't
Exactly.
remember if Boromir had a chance to burn Kelda or if it was
There was
or
like
not.
there was an initiative gamble that Chris won. I think actually Boromir didn't even have an order marker. I thought he would have order marker 1 on Cyprian to try to burn Kelda before Quahon did, just because that'd
Yeah.
be such a big boost for him. But I think his X was on Cyprian, so I don't
Yeah.
think it
Yeah.
even mattered. But I think definitely that playing chicken with Kelda with Cyprian and Quahon, I think that's a good thing to force in the early game because either like either you burn it and it helps you, like, and this can go either way, or you force your opponent to burn it early, and that can help you to get a good position on them, which is what we saw. Quahon burned it early, which, I mean, she had like what, 3 wounds, I think. So it was still a good kill to grab, but then the Nhah Scirh were able to capitalize on that positioning really well.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Either of those heroes could die on Kelda. You know, you can imagine, you know, with the spiders and or Quahon coming in with all those attacks, even if you burn Kelda, and vice versa, if you go on Kelda, as we sort of saw, if the Nhah Scirh can get to you, you're gonna die real fast. So it's an interesting way to have to think about Kelda in this game, I think.
Yeah.
And getting Kelda without getting the counter attack was key. Would have been the way to go about it if you can finagle that, and then that's probably why Chris is kind of fretting over that spider not blocking things off.
Yeah, I think honestly, I think this is an excellently played game on both ends. I think honestly, just not blocking off with that spider and turning this into like a slow 1v1 Nhah Scirh versus Quahon, I think that was like really the only big mistake that I saw.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
maybe
probably some, like, you know, small minor placement mistakes that we saw, but like as far as just like overall stuff, I think that was the only thing where I'm like, no, definitely that should have happened. And because that gives you a fighting chance.
Could just be a card thing, not knowing that card or just misreading it in the moment. Because like I said, when in the Take-Two VC format, like, you got about a minute to look at your 2 armies and your opponent's 2 armies and choose. And you know, there's not a lot of time to like go searching around for cards, and like you got an hour. You know, they're saying, "Hey, time to play, go." You know, so things like that happen in the moment. So I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
Exactly, and like, and Nhah Scirh is already kind of a wordy card. They're like powers that you can understand once you've like, if you have time to read through it thoroughly. But like if you're being rushed, like Chris might have been, then I can definitely see like misunderstanding how a power works or something like that.
Yeah, which definitely can play in. So
and I know Chris has said himself, like, he's not super familiar with the. He says he learns VC 1 card at a time. So like he goes into a game and he learns a card, you know, whatever he's playing with in that game. Which, I mean, definitely, honestly, is the way to go if you're like, you know, dipping your toes into it. And he's a great player, so it often works out for him.
Yeah, and it's a big, you know, there's a lot of cards now, so it's, you know, it's a lot to take on. So I mean, that's a great way to do it, is just say, hey, I'll learn these guys as I run into them. And playing against or with them is just the best way to do it. You know, it's hard to get a feel for a unit just by reading the card. You really got to play with or against to see how it goes. Yeah,
exactly. But this was a good game, though. I mean, it ended in a little bit of a, you know, little bit in Boromir's favor, but I mean, I really enjoyed this game. This is a really fun game to watch.
Very cool matchup. Yeah, very cool.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Tiamat, for joining me with this one. It's a good time. It's always a good time when you're on board.
As a friend of the show, Bigga, you can always rely on me. You know.
Oh yeah, of course.
Anytime you call, I'll pick up.
Sounds good.
In truth, I'm the one calling behind the scenes, begging to be on the show.
I mean, we don't have to talk about how much you beg or bribe or anything like that. It's fine. But no, I always love having you on. You're a great co-host to have on. I super enjoy it.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun again. So hopefully I'll be back.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So thank you for joining. Thank you, viewers, for viewing the game. Tiamat, do you have anything you'd like to share, plug, endorse, preach, anything before we sign off?
No, I don't have it. I always forget to think of my parting words of wisdom. I'm going to come up with a quote next time, something profound. I promise.
I'll hold you to that.
Not this time. Thank you. Next time.
I'll make a note and hold you to it. But yeah, thanks again for joining. Thanks again, viewers, for viewing. Really quick, I will plug, just really quick before we sign off. I've been plugging this in every video, so this won't be new if you've been watching a lot of the videos, but I want to make sure nobody misses that. There are so many cool resources that came from Online Con that you should definitely check out. There is Infected Sloth, aka Filthy's Twitch channel. You can watch many games that happened on Online Con over there. You don't have to wait for them to air here. He got a lot of the finals games. He and others like Orc Elf Army 1, Major Q23, you might know them as the Casters of Valhalla crowd. They're the ones who do that podcast. Or like a high-end Gen Con crowd. Lots of great players who talked about games, so I definitely recommend checking out those games because they had awesome commentary. You can also check out the Battle Report thread. This will all be plugged in the description. The channel, the thread, battle reports. You can read battle reports, which gives you insight to players' perspectives when they were playing the games, which is something that's really awesome to learn. Not only what decisions they made, but why did they make them. I love reading those, so definitely check that out as well. As always, there's tons more to come from this event. I don't think we're even halfway through at this point. so definitely stay tuned for more stuff to come. And yeah, I think that's about it. But as always, just check out the description below because I plug so much stuff down there. Yeah, just like so much stuff to be aware of because there were, especially from this event, so many cool resources that came up. So I definitely recommend checking them out. But yeah, that'll be it from us. Thank you so much for joining. Remember, what a glorious world it is that we live in. And this will be 10 points under and out.